Everyone, this is Mr. Mohammed coming up with another video about the final revision. So today we're going to solve this question that is in your final revision sheet, and it reads, given this function, and this function is a quadratic function in the vertex form, and I know this because it looks like a vertex form to me. It's like, like ax minus h squared plus k. It looks like that. And you need to answer some questions based on this. That's a thorough question, so we need to take a look at what's required. So first, we need to describe the translation of the function when through. Okay, and then determine the vertex, and after that determine the axis of symmetry, determine the domain and range, and at the end graph the function. And as you probably noticed, that graphing the function is not a priority in this question. That means you can answer all these questions without having the graph, right? So just quick answer to that question will be, first you need to remember what it looks like originally. I know that y is actually a x minus h squared plus k, and I also know from my previous video that A tells me if there is a stretch or compression, plus k, sorry. A tells me if there is a stretch or compression, and also tells me if there is a reflection of this graph across x-axis. H tells you the horizontal, because H stands for horizontal translation. K is the vertical translation. So in this case, in my question, A, there's no number, so it's a 1. H is positive 3 in that function, so that means it should be negative 3, because it was negative multiplied by negative, that's why it's written positive. So in any case, you can just switch the signs. So negative 3, and K is positive 4. So he wants first thing, A, to describe the translation the function went through. So as you can see, the function went through negative 3 horizontally and 4 vertically. So negative 3 horizontally means this function was translated 3 units to the left, and 4 units, you guessed it, upwards. So this function was shifted 3 units to the left, that's minus 3 horizontally, and then 4 units upward, so it goes like to the left and then up. Question B, they want to determine the vertex. So the vertex, easily, it's h and k. So we can write it as minus 3 and 4. So the vertex, as you know, the vertex is either the maximum point or the minimum point of your graph. And of course, in this case, it's a minimum point because A is positive. That means the graph is looking upwards. So this graph looks something like that. It looks something like that. So the vertex is a minimum point, which is minus 3 and 4. Still, we did not graph. C, determine the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry of this curve occurs at the x value of the vertex, and the x value of the vertex is x equal negative 3. So if you think about it, the x value is this point, so the axis of symmetry goes like this. That's a bad line. So it goes like that, okay, like this. So the axis of symmetry is an equation, and it's x equals to h, which is x equal to negative 3. Okay. Next question is D. Let's see, another color. D says, determine the domain and range. The domain and range of the function, as you know, the quadratic function extends from negative infinity to positive infinity on the x domain. So basically, its domain will be all real numbers. All real numbers are fine. Or you can write it like this, from negative infinity to positive infinity. Of course, both of them not included. The range, though, it has to start from a certain point to infinity, or from negative infinity to that point. And as you know, that when we're looking at the range, so we're thinking about the y-axis. In this case, our graph is minus 3 and 4, so it's somewhere here. And this point on the y-axis is 4, and this point on the x-axis here is negative 3. So I want to describe the range on the y-axis. And it's going from 4, as you can see, that's the minimum point, and it's going up there to infinity, positive infinity. So the range can be written as from 4, I made a mistake, from 4 as included point to positive infinity, not included. Okay? That's D. E is graphing this parabola. So we did a pretty nice graph, but to be more precise, I'm going to go ahead and use a graphing calculator for that, and I'm going to graph the function y equals to x plus 3 squared plus 4, and as you can see, it looks like that, and the vertex is minus 3 and 4, so it goes 3 units to the left, 4 units upwards, and it's looking upwards because a was given as a positive number. So anytime you see a question like this, just imagine how it looks like in the beginning, and then think about what they want you to find, and it's usually straightforward if you know what the function should look like. All right, so if you have any question about any quadratics, I'm going to record another video, and it's going to be about standard form and how to change from standard form to vertex form, and hence, graph it again. So good luck. If you have any questions, you should always come back to me.